I had no construction experience, none at all. I was like, let's go ahead and risk it and build $1.5 million home. I would rather risk my cash than banks. It's where I spent about $120,000. I had not budgeted that much. There are times when I'm like, oh shit, I'm running out of money. I would say, Spec Home is your education cost.
Welcome to my first build podcast. My name is Dmitry Bonder. Today we have a guest, Jemish Kikani, who's a professional builder making first steps in this industry, right? We'll talk about this today. I want to start this podcast with one very interesting angle that I found about Jemish. So basically you did everything not how people tell to do. You didn't take money from the bank, right?
True.
You built a pretty huge house, and you built a spec house that put a lot of risks. And usually a lot of mentors, teachers tell them to do absolutely in a different way. Be very safe, take bank's money, start small. So when you look back to your decision to start building, what do you see? What was your first thought when you realized you want to build your first house in this way?
So to answer your question, I would have to go back, how the journey started. I came on an EB-5 visa. I have to answer it in a different way because it's a lengthier answer, which is an investors-based visa where US government grants you a green card for having, meeting the criterias of EB-5. And to do that, we opened up a business called Urban Air in South Austin, where we have about 80 employees and been in business since past 8 years. So all those factors, covered my green card part of it, which was very important. But when COVID hit, entertainment industry was one of the biggest ones that got affected because nobody knew what's going on, how things are going to work out, and we had the shutdown from the government. Luckily, I was able to get inside the country before the shutdown, actually just 1 week. And March is the busiest time for us. So we were prepping for the highest sales that we have done in the business, and we had a lot of inventory because food, we go through a lot of food at Urban Air. So when that happened, we had to shut down and figure out what am I going to do with my life, because I realized entertainment industry, yes, it's a good business to be in, but when you have such a time like a recession or a downtime, or when government tells you are shut down, what do you do? So I start figuring out, all right, what do I want to do next with my life? And real estate was something that I was always passionate about. I come from a family business background. My dad is an entrepreneur. He used to be a diamond merchant, a real estate investor. So that I've always had that in back of my mind that I want to get into real estate. That's when I realized, house flipping was something you can do. I had no construction experience, none at all. And 2021, I got approval from my family. You're like, okay, you know what? You want to do something? Go ahead. They gave me the funds to buy my first house. I was in Cedar Park, not too fancy, not too anything out of the ordinary. It's a regular home. We bought it off from the market, renovated it. Learned a lot of things in that, finding right contractors. First of all, it was really hard to find contractors because I was relying on people whom I know, their opinion or their suggestions.
It's like in every investment, friends, fools, and families.
Yes, yes. You start with that. I was asking my realtor if they know anyone. And I got a couple of contacts. Some of the contractors were really bad, and some of them were really good. And been working with them since forever now.
But let me clarify. So your dad and you didn't have any building experience, like from scratch, from ground up.
Mm-hmm.
not in United States, not in India. Like
No.
you did absolutely different, right?
Yeah. Its construction is completely different as well, right? We building bricks and concrete in India.
Bring me back to the day when you were like sitting, like we are sitting at this table and thinking like, I want to build my first house. Like it's very interesting to understand the decision, how people make this decision.
So I was successful flipping houses. The first one I did, we took about a month. Not quality job, I would say, but bones were strong on that house. Yes, cosmetic wise, we didn't do a great job because I had wrong contractors. But then I realized, all right, once I found good ones, that what I am capable of doing. Once we market was so hot that once we put the house on the market, it was sold in 2 days. And I was like, you know what? I can see the numbers growing over here. And once we closed on that house, we just kept repeating. In the next 3 years, I did about 20 houses. And all the money I was making, I was going out and buying lots, residential community lots where communities are already built up. There's a demand for those lots where there's a demand for, it's a good neighborhood, good school district, and what a family is looking for. So that's where I went and bought about 5 to 6 lots. And I realized, at that time as well, I was interested in building new construction home because market was so hot.
It was low rates, interest rates.
Low interest rate, but material cost was very high.
Yeah, wood was.
Labor was very high.
Yeah.
It was very costly to build as well. And, you had to be quick about making decisions. And I was like, let me hold on building new custom homes before, just take a break on it. Don't get into it. Just let the market settle. That way, the lumber prices are predictable. Labor cost is predictable. And when we reach there in 2024, I decided, all right, you know what? Market's already turned from going downwards now.
Yeah.
It's not at the peak anymore.
Cool down.
Cool down, yeah. We saw a lot of cool down in Austin. So at that point, I decided, all right, you know what, let's start building custom homes. My original thought was to go out and build a $400,000-$500,000 home, not $1.5 million directly. I have a lot in Lago Vista. It's a community called Point Venture. It's pretty nice. Everything is pretty good. But my original thought was, let's spend $500,000 on building house, learn from that, and then go build $1.5 million home before jumping on into it. But later on, I realized, if I put in $500,000 into a home and I'm only netting out, say probably 50 to 75,000, it's not worth my time. Probably takes me 6 to 7 months to build that house, and the money does not add up. Time value of money, basically. So at that point, I was like, let's go ahead and risk it and build $1.5 million home. I did have, flipping experience, and it was just about finding a right person to hold my hand and be like, you know what? That's where I met you and Igor. And you guys were like, oh no, you know what? We'll help you out with the experience you had. Hi, my name is Jemish Kikani. You are at my family home under construction. This is about 4,400 square feet under roof. Not under roof, living square foot. About 7,000 square feet on the roof. And let me show you inside. This is going to be the whole kitchen area, right? We have a 48-inch induction range over here. Full island and I also have 2 feet of cabinets going all the way up on the wall. Plus we'll have a huge island over here. It's about 12 feet wide, 6 feet wide width, and 12 feet in length. So it's pretty grand island. Behind you, we're gonna have an appliance wall. It's what I'm calling an appliance wall. This whole wall that you see over here that's framed out on the top, we're gonna have about $17,000 worth of refrigerators over here. It's get pretty pricey. Wife gets what she wants. 72 inches of refrigeration space. We have a coffee unit as well and some storage, pantry storage.
Let me clarify. So the skills that I know a lot of people come into building the house from scratch from flipping industry. Like in my network, maybe like 30% of people do some kind of flips or innovations. For if you're comparing the skills you need for flipping and skills you need to build this beautiful house. By the way, we are sitting inside of your family house.
Yes.
Look at this gorgeous high ceiling. So the type of skills you need, are they the same, or like you realize, no, I need this skill and that skill? Like, what is it different?
So to be honest, it's very different. Flipping, you already have a house, right? That's already up. All you're doing and is depending on what level of flip you're doing. It can be a light remodel, it can be a heavy remodel. Are you tearing down walls? Do you have structural engineer involved where you're moving load bearing walls? Where are you adding foundation? Are you redoing electrical or plumbing, or what do you want to do? When you go to see a flip home, you realize, all right, this is what changes you need. Also at the same time, you have to look at the market. What's your comps? You just can't go in and buy a $500,000 home and expect to sell it for $1 million when the comps are only for $600, $700 or $800, right? You have to be in your budget and do what's possible. I wouldn't say minimum, but what's needed for you to sell the house, you need to do that. Whereas new construction, pretty much you have to become geotech engineer, structural engineer, framer, concrete guy, entrepreneur. You need to know the building codes. You need to read the building code book. You need to know building science, because there's science involved behind every home. How the house breathes, how the whole occupants feel in it, what's the comfort of the home, how different insulation affects your body, how drywall, what's VOCs, and there are a lot of things that you get to know when you start building new homes, which are completely different, right? Your trim carpenters, your finish carpentry, like what level of custom do you want to go? Because you can go and build a $10 million home with importing building materials.
Spend all your money for internal works.
Yeah, and you can go and build $1 million home as well. $500,000. The money is not it. What's custom, right? It's for you. It's built for you. It's not for a resale.
So you're saying it's more learning of technologies and skills and trades.
Yes.
And and I think you're coming, usually what I know about flipping, you come to flipping with team ready to work tomorrow, right? Usually you don't come and looking for the team.
No.
So here did you hire a lot of new people you work before?
Architectural, structural engineers. You also have to deal with city permitting, which is something you don't
pain in one place.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
Depends on your architect as well and your engineer, how smooth of a process, how good of a detailed plan they make. If it's not good enough, then city's gonna have comments and it's gonna be a headache for you to get started in the process. As well as for me, I didn't have need of financing, so it was a lot easier, I would say.
Let's talk about this, because this is a very interesting point. And be honest with me, how important was the let's say the pile of cash or wherever you name it, when from your franchise business and when you made decision to start building, like, do you feel like if I need to take a construction loan, maybe I will not go in this adventure endeavor?
It might have been the situation because the market's completely different, right? Like I started a year ago on the Leander build that I'm doing. That's a 4,000 square feet custom home with 5-bed, 4.5
spec
bath,
house,
spec home, theater, office, everything. Imported windows, imported cabinetries, and that was a different part of saving costs. But if I didn't have the money, it would have been really hard to get financing in the first place, because I would have to find a builder who would want to work with me, where he is providing me with the experience. And getting a loan itself is pretty hard when you don't have education or you don't have a track record. You enter through the main door. We're going to have a fluted glass panel over here that provides privacy, as well as you'll have access to come from the both side. We have hallway access. You can come in, and it's going to be a grand living room. Huge high ceiling. We are at 24 feet of height over here, and a lot of HVAC ducts, as you can see. And we have about 6 to 7 speakers in this room itself, with subwoofers, and it's gonna be a full-on party spot.
We are recording these podcasts for first-time builders. That's why this podcast called My First Build, not my 125. A lot of builders think that banks usually like a good friends. They want to help you to build. Like, how do you feel the role of banks in the building? Like, do they want to help, or they just want to make money? And like, how hard to get the loan when you don't have experience at all?
So I can only talk about what I've heard, because I haven't.
Yeah, you didn't take loan.
I didn't take loan, but talking to people in the industry, it's easier when you own the land in the first place. Say you go buy the land out in cash, and then go to a bank and be like, this is my plan, this is my estimate, and this is what I'm looking for. Your land is secured as a collateral, for the bank. You can make money that way as well. So say, you go buy a piece of land from the market for much cheaper than what it would get appreciated for. Then that's your effort of going and finding that piece of land where you're buying it from the market at a lower price. Then that's the advantage for you when you go to get financing, because bank will do appraisal on the lot and say, you bought it for say 100,000, but it appraised for 150,000. That 50,000, it's basically you made money for the effort that you went and found a good piece of land for a cheaper price. It's negotiation, right? Everything is about numbers, and when you do that, I feel like bank are more comfortable, as well as having experience. If you have done one home, have a track record of building a home, then I think bank wants to give you the money, because you know what you're doing. It's not like you're new and you're gonna waste their money or burn their money off. That's the last thing they want. So I think track record is something that's very important.
And I think it's worth mentioning that even when you're taking the loan and you have a land that could be collateral, you still need to pay for closing costs, for some kind of points, a lot of other extra payments that people don't realize. It's still not free money, let's say.
Yeah, it's not free money. There's a lot of factors, and I think your education course covers quite a lot of those points where what you need and what you don't need before going and securing a loan. So I think your education course is a good place to start as well.
We were trying to help people, at least to educate, but I'm interested genuinely in your perspective. Yeah. So you didn't take any money from.
That was because I didn't have any track record as well. Even if I wanted to, my land was paid off, and I didn't have any track record where bank would finance me. Even though if I had flipping experience, right, it's still not the same as building a new home. So the goal was to go get, I had saved money up from flipping as well. So I had that money to go and build the home by myself. Why take financing when you don't need to? And when you have the cash, I would rather risk my cash than banks and pay, whatever 10% or 11% interest that was going on at that time. I can't afford on.
Yeah, I see a lot of people from cash businesses, laundromats, some maybe gas stations or something like that, who build a huge pile of cash on the account and then they start building.
Yeah.
Because it's a very money consuming.
Yeah, you go through a lot of, you wouldn't imagine when you start with dirt work, and depending on if it's on a slope, if it's on a flat ground, like even if you see this lot, when I actually came to buy this lot, this is a 2-acre property, right? And pretty much in heart of, not in the heart of Austin, but northern Austin, where it, ease
Suburbs,
of access, suburb, but ease of access is amazing. When I got this lot, there used to be an existing house on it, and we tore that down. And when I got the survey back, I was like, there is a 20 feet difference from one corner to the other corner of the lot. I was like, I can't see where the 20 feet is. So I had to call my foundation guy back. I was like, can you bring your laser equipment? And I want to see the 20 feet difference, what they are talking about, because it's deceiving, honestly. I thought I'm buying a flat land, but no, it's not flat.
And it changed everything usually.
Yes, we had to bring in a lot of dirt, to level the land out. Otherwise, it was two options. Either I spend money on foundation, bringing stem walls up and leveling the house out, or else I bring dirt up and level the pad out. I went with leveling the land out because there was a commercial project going on right over here on Ronald Reagan, where they had to get rid of a lot of solid limestone dirt. I was able to get that pretty much for free, and I had compaction and geotech report done before we started building, and once we compacted the land. Geotech is what's also very important, where you buy your land, your soil condition.
And you don't know the soil condition usually.
Yeah, it's very important to know. First and the foremost important step, go talk to the neighbors and see if they have foundation issues. And in Austin, typically we know that if you're on the west side of I-35, then you're good. If you're on the east side of I-35, then you're gonna have clay soil and issues with your foundation.
Yeah, but every city is different.
Every city is different. That's true. Yeah. So it's very important to have a geotech analysis done on your soil before you start construction. We're gonna have a bar area on this side. The good thing is the countertop will come out, and we're gonna have countertop on the outside as well. This window is open up completely, and when we are entertaining, now we can push this open and have a indoor-outdoor space for the bar area.
Let's go back to one more important decision. Again, people with experience teach us start with something much safer than spec house. Spec is usually the most risky.
Yeah.
You have to predict the market. You have to have a very good comps. You have to understand your client avatar, like a lot of things. Your decision before you committed to build a spec was based on what? Why you didn't start looking for the client maybe first and build for him? Like, why did you start building spec house as your first house?
Experience counts, right? So like, say if I go market my company out and market the lot out, market the 3D plan I can go create, and that's not gonna take me anywhere until unless I have a proven record. It goes back to the same thing. Like clients wants to see that you have built something, that you know what you are talking about.
So you're saying it's hard to find the custom client
when you don't have experience. Yes.
So people usually don't trust you, like I can do it.
Yeah, for the first time builder, someone's not gonna come and be like, you know what, here is $1 million, go build me a home. When you yourself don't know everything. So first, I would say the reason why I went with spec, I know it's much more riskier. I might make, not enough probably. Originally, yes, we were expecting 30% return on money, but now looking at current market, even if I get 20, I'll be happy with that. But the goal is education cost. I would say spec home is your education cost.
Yeah,
you learn.
That's a good point.
A lot of stuff. You learn the first time mistakes, which contractors to hire, which not to hire. And you go, you improve from there. As you see, this house is completely different built than my first spec home, because over here I can experiment. It's my own personal home. I do a lot of research on following good, really good builders, getting tips and tricks on how to improve myself. And for me, constant research is a key. My wife always complains that I'm researching all the time and not giving her enough time. But that's part of education, right? And
what scared you the most when you start this house? Like, try to remember, like, what was your biggest fears? Like, oh my God, I don't know this, or I cannot do that. Like, what was your biggest scary moment at that?
I wouldn't say there were a lot of scary moments. It was mainly, when I was building the spec home, I knew the dirt, what I'm building on. And it was pretty solid limestone over there. Because we had to dig. It was on a downward slope. So, we had to dig the mountain out pretty much to build it. So I knew the foundation is going to be amazing, because it's as good as you can get. Other things were unknown of how the foundation of a home is built. It's not only 4 inches of concrete that you see on top. It's a lot of things that's under the concrete slab. Your footers, your interior footers, exterior footers, your depth on those, the rebar, amount of rebar you put in. I don't build home with post tension cables. I like to use rebar. As I said, I used to flip homes. We have had situations where, post tension built homes, when we were remodifying plumbing lines or sewer lines, those rebar, those post tension cables comes in the way, and even if you cut one of them, it's such a pain. It's pretty much impossible to redo. It's possible. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg if you cut that post tension cable, because that's like compressed at, like, when they pull it, the hydraulic pressure on that, like 35 to 55,000 psi of pulling force. That's a lot of pressure, and if you cut one, you'll hear, and the whole house will move and shake, and you'll hear the noise of that cable getting cut. So just due to the fear of that, and you can, when you build a house out of rebar, even if you cut it, you can make dowels and retie it.
Still stable,
Your house is not gonna crack or fall apart. Concrete's always going to crack. So no matter what, if it's cracked now, that's good. If it's not cracked, it will crack. So there's no way around it.
Yeah, I heard a lot, like, it will crack. The question is when and how. Like, so you should be ready for that.
Yeah.
But coming back to like a spec home building decision, you said that you don't have basically choice to start building a
Custom home, yeah, for a client.
Yeah.
You have to start as a spec home builder. Do 1 or 2 houses, prove your record. So when you have a client who wants to work with you, you can show them the house that you have built and the quality of workmanship that you can provide. Otherwise, how are you communicating? How are you even showing them what you can do? So
Or maybe start building like a family house first.
yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah, build your own home. So the another reason why I like to build with cash is I can build a lot cheaper than getting a loan. First, my interest rate, I don't have interest rate, right? As well as I can negotiate better with my suppliers as well as my contractors when I'm paying cash, because the way I work is you get paid every Friday.
Yeah.
You submit your receipts on Thursday, you put your invoices in, and you get paid on Friday. That's my job of making sure the invoice that I'm billed for is the work's been done for it, and you get paid straight away. So contractors are happy working that way because they don't have to wait for inspections. They don't have to wait for banks inspections.
Yeah, let's explain this, because people don't, maybe some viewers don't realize, like when you're working with the banks, you're getting trenches.
Yeah.
And you're not getting trenches every Friday.
No.
Usually, right? You cannot pay them like every week because you don't have this money, right? In your case, because you have a cash, you can pay them more frequently on time. They're more happy.
Yeah.
And it means they will be doing their job maybe much faster, better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good, very good.
I've also seen, like, when you pay in cash, like pay on time, pay your employees, keep them happy, get drinks for them, get food for them, and it's small deeds that you can do. When you have change orders, they want to work with you. It's not like they're banging their head and we're like, you made this mistake, now it's gonna cost you this much, that much. And it also depends on the contractor. Some people still do that because that's part of business, and because if it costs them money, they're gonna send that cost over to you. But some people understand that building homes, it's not like it's a constant decision making that you gotta keep doing till you move in, or even after you moving in, you still have work that keeps going on. So it's decisions that you're making on site every day. Yeah.
Let's finish with the spec section of podcast, but I want to ask one question. Imagine that your friend came to you and say, like, I want to build my first spec house. What 2-3 advices, like short but like straight to the point advices, you will give him?
Lot size, what neighborhood he wants to build in. I want to inquire about that first. Make sure the neighborhood supports what he's trying to achieve.
You can sell it.
Yes. You need to build a sellable product in that neighborhood. You just can't go and build a $5 million home in a $1 million community. That's not going to sell because it's not going to get appraised. So first have end goal in mind. What is your exit strategy? What are you looking to get out of it? So first thing is, do you have an exit strategy? If you do, all right, let's backtrack it and make sure we're able to achieve that exit strategy. Then most important is knowing those details. So other things, having, if it's a first spec home, having someone to help you out with. Because even right now, this is my 3rd custom home. I still make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect. So, but you accept those mistakes and you move forward from that. But having someone helps out, because if you don't have good contractors, your plumbers, electricians, your mechanical guys, your foundation framers, I would say those are the 5 most important trades. Then once you're done with that, then insulation and drywall and trim carpentry, it's not as important to me as what this other 5 trades are, because they are the bones of your home. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you have those lined up before you start, and having a good structural engineer. The benefit of custom home is like we don't compromise that. All right, let's spend less money on the kids' bedroom and let's spend more money on the master. No, yeah, the size gets bigger in the master, but the quality and finishes and the features still stay the same. So in this side of the house, this is all whole master wing. So this room over here is going to be a workout room or a gym, home gym. So we'll have a treadmill, weight rack, just to get some workout done, and half bath on this side. This is a accessible door. We're gonna have a big pool on the outside, so when I'm done with my workout, I can come out, go swim, and directly head to the master shower from there. This is gonna be the master bedroom. We still have the high voltage ceilings throughout the master, so it gives a grand feel. We have a huge picture window that you guys might have seen.
Walk me through your first house budget. Like, how big is the house? What is the construction cost? And like percentage-wise, what usually you will spend on this size of the house? Like to give people a little bit better idea.
A rough idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the land for about 270,000. It's a 0.42 acre property. It's about 20,000 square feet of land area. And we built 4,000 square feet living. Under roof is about 5,500. Includes the 3-car garage and a porch in the back. And then fees wise, you start with your architect. So first guy, pretty much looking at if it's a custom architecture. Time is money, right? So it took a long time for me to get architectural done.
2-3 months?
No.
4?
6 months.
6 months. Oh,
because it was also, you have to remember, it's 2022 when 23.
Everybody is very busy.
Everyone is busy, so
arrogant and busy.
Yeah, it took a while to get the drawings done, and I had changes. I was constantly making changes to try to optimize and make the plan a little better every time. But yeah, once we were done with that stage, engineering was followed right after that, and city permit took about, I would say, 3 revisions. All in all, it was about 6 to 8 months of time frame before I can go get bids for foundation. The second biggest cost, actually the biggest cost was for me was the dirt work. Because we were building on a slope and I had about a 40%, not 40%, but 40 feet difference from the street level to the bottom part of the lot. So we had to raise the foundation up, which requires limestone blocks. It's like heavy, huge limestone blocks. We did a retaining wall, bringing importing dirt, and that excavating the hill out as well to build a flat lot. So that's where I spent about 120,000. I had not budgeted that much. I'd budgeted about 50,000 in dirt work.
That's a good point. So when you were looking for the lot and you decided to buy this lot, you had no idea how much you will spend for excavation and like bringing blocks of.
No, I did not know. Because when the surveyor comes out and he digs out your envelope,
like that.
That's when you realize, right, how much work is it actually going to have, and when you're digging through limestone, it's not easy. The charges go up pretty quickly because they have to bring hammer attachments, break rock down. They have to bring special compactors to make sure that rock's getting crushed and compacted well. So as well as the limestone, right? I started with the 4 feet of height. We got the wall done, we got the leveling done, and realized the grade is, the way the driveway would slope out, the way the water is very important. If you're on a downward slope, how are you going to manage the water? It's, I would say, the most important aspect. So when we were looking at that, we were like, all right, I realized that we need to go another 2 feet up. So that's 25,000 more right there.
Wow. So 120 for excavation preparation for
just the ground.
For the ground.
Before
Okay.
even if foundation comes in.
Okay.
Foundation was on in budget.
Yeah. Like how much?
Foundation costed me roughly 65,000. That's with everything, all the rebar, concrete formwork, and we went 2 feet above that as well. So the higher up you go from the ground, it's going to cost you more.
The more you charge.
The more charge.
If I'm not wrong, they usually include like a 3 feet.
Yeah.
Right? 3 feet
Yeah.
in the price.
That's under the ground.
Yeah.
Then you have to go above ground as well, right? So typically my engineer required me to go 26 inches, I think. Because geotech plays a very important role in that. And once you have your site prep ready, then you have to do a soil testing and geotech again, because you have imported dirt, you have imported different compaction. So all those factors plays a role on how the dirt is, how well the dirt is, and what your bearing capacity of your soil is. That's something very important that you need to know what's your bearing capacity. 1500 psi, 2500 or more. So your foundation design will be based on that. What your geotech report says on what you need, and your structural engineer will design the foundation as per the geotech's report, because everyone has liability they want to take on, and it's only so much liability they can take on. So it's like a blame game, once things fall apart.
Yeah, in case if something wrong happened, who will be liable?
Yeah, who will be liable? So structural engineer does not just want to give out a foundation drawing until and unless they know what your bearing capacity is, and bearing capacity you'll only know if you get a geotech done. So that's it added cost up over there as well, but I had budgeted for it a little bit over extra for foundation, and we were in budget. I think we spent about 65,000 on everything. Also we had a retaining wall in the garage. It was about 50 feet in length and 10 feet in height. It was 10 inches of thick solid concrete wall, which we had to build out, and that was another $15,000 to get that done.
So usually foundation, retaining walls is very unpredictable cost-wise, and people don't realize how much can it cost.
Even if you're building, above the street surface or below the street surface, like where is your lot? So if this is the street, is it on the down or is it on the up?
Yeah.
So both the side you need
upward to downward. Yeah.
Both the side you need to level the ground out, so you need retaining wall, and that's expensive.
Okay. So foundation, you said about 60, 70K.
Let's say about 80 in foundation with all the dirt work, concrete wall and everything.
Okay. With a retaining wall, so without?
With retaining wall.
Okay.
That's just solid concrete retaining wall, not the limestone. That's in the dirt work part of the build cost.
And I remember I met you first time on your building site when you made decision to change something with retaining walls and save. How much did you save on the?
Wasn't a lot of savings. It was mainly, how we didn't plan out. I didn't plan out on where my water heater is gonna go, where the water softener is gonna go. So I needed actual stud wall space, not solid concrete wall. We could mount on it as well, but running the pipes would be difficult, and we would have to determine on a preset location on where those are going to go. So even if you want to make any changes, then it's really hard on getting those done.
5,000 square feet. How much did you spend on frame?
So
and you have a wood frame, right?
Yes, it's a wood frame.
It's not hybrid, not metal, just wood.
Just wood. I would say the material cost on that 30 plus About 55,000 in material. That's all trusses. I didn't do rafters or stick frame. That roof, that's what they call stick frame roof.
Yep.
We did all trusses. I wanted to make sure it's easily doable, faster, as well as it's easier on the trades as well. I love trusses like that. If I have had an option, I would always choose trusses over stick frame because it's engineered as well, right? Every stud, every truss is engineered to bear a certain load on where it's going through a house, and it's easier for the trades to run the duct lines, the plumbing lines, and the wires. I don't like I-joist because there's only certain limitations on how big of a duct opening you can have, and where it's trusses you can design 16 inches, 14 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches on whatever is your requirement.
This frame is different to comparing to the same type of.
Yes, it's the same building material wise, except for where we have 16 feet top plate heights, we have 2x8 and compared to 2x6s.
Yeah.
All the exterior surface in this house is all 2x6. So I think that's
you spent
a telltale
much more.
sign. Yeah. When you do custom, you can go that route because 2x6 gives you more insulation depth. Just stronger lumber.
You can put more insulation, better R value, and stronger lumber as well, right? It's 2x6 is able to carry a lot more weight than what 2x4 is able to carry. Okay.
Even though if I have just single story home over here, and it's my own home, and I wanted to build it as strong as possible and financially possible.
Yeah. So with the framing we told
plus labor, say $7 per square feet. That's the industry rate.
So
as
like
well.
in total, like 50.
You would be about 100 and combined
with the labor
with labor and material. Yeah, you can 100, 110, 120,000 in that price range.
On this stage, usually people think like, okay, I'm done with the foundation framing. Like I almost, I'm good with my budget. Like, what happened next, and how
also
much
you have to realize that
on the next stage,
the dirt work, foundation, and framing has eaten up like $400,000-$500,000.
Yeah,
and all you have is still just a frame.
You still cannot live in this house.
And it's been like $400,000-$500,000 already. Down over here, I have 2 bedrooms on this side. We have a server rack where all my low voltage communication, so all the sound system, internet, what else? Cameras, future fiber. Right now we have coax, so regular speed. But whenever we have optical fiber or internet fiber, I think we prep for it. So in future, whenever we get that, we just pulling the string and pulling the cable out, so we don't have to redo the whole low voltage system. All the showers in this house are called as a curbless shower. So as you see, they're going to be flat, and you're not going to have any curb. So you can basically the flooring will continue. This pan is designed to have a pre-slope already built into it. So whenever you're taking a shower, the slope already, the pan itself has a slope where water is going to drain out and it's not going to go in the bathroom area. I also like to show you some things I do is, if I have my shower head over there, I'll have my shower valves on this side. So we'll have a glass panel, and I can turn on my hot water, don't have to get wet, let the water come out, and then go inside the shower. So I'm not getting wet whenever I'm turning on the shower. All the vanities as well are going to be motion censored. So in the night when you want to use the restroom, you come in, there's just a thin strip of LED that turns on. You don't have to turn on any lights. The toilets are going to be all smart toilet as well. So when you approach the toilet, automatically the lids open. You need to pee, you go pee, or do your business and be out. You don't have to wake up completely. That's the goal.
How much did you spend after the frame?
After the frame, you have your electrical. No, actually, first thing you start is your mechanical. That's about 30,000 over there. Then depends also, how. Like in this house, I've spent $50,000 in just mechanical, because I have done like ERV, energy recovery ventilation, dehumidification, variable speed HVAC, just top of the line stuff. HEPA grade filtration throughout the house, plus no bath fans. It's like once you get into it, the more building science the more better you're gonna build.
Can you explain why did you spend this so much money for mechanical in case of Spec House?
And this one is my personal, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's why I'm asking.
So few things I wanted to. There are two things. I've done some studies on sleep patterns, on how that affects your body. When you spend half of your life pretty much sleeping on a one bed, and you don't stop breathing, right? When everything is closed out, your windows are closed out, you don't have fresh air coming in, and that affects when you don't have fresh oxygen inside the home. It affects your recovery of how you sleep. Fresh air means I have HEPA grade filtration in this house, so I don't have to worry about pollen allergy. I don't have, at least inside the home when I am. I don't have to worry about asthma related issues, and
But can you invest so much money in a spec house? This is a question. Like price.
Well, you also if you are above, I would say 2 million and price range in Austin at least, or in Texas, you can invest, because people who are spending that kind of money, this affects and this is important for them. Like say someone comes in and their kids has an asthma issue, and we are providing HEPA grade filtration where they don't have to worry about inhalers, and at least while they are inside the house, right? And they don't have to worry about allergies, pollen, carbon, and dust in the air.
Yeah, but it's still like more luxury feature.
It is a luxury feature, right? But for us as human beings, what's our biggest asset? It's our kids, right? So you'll do anything and everything for your kid. So when someone who has these issues and comes and sees the house, and you can explain, this is what we have done, they can go and see a $3 million home that does not have really good mechanical, and they can go and see a $2 million home that's really good mechanical and meets criteria for what they're looking for their kids. They'll go and spend money on the 2 million, not 3 million.
Okay, so coming back to the budget, it could be a lot, it could be less. And then what did you spend as well for your first spec house?
First spec house we did, mechanical was about 30,000. I did a little different in that. I did make sure building science is taken care of. So if you have more than 600 CFM, I would say it doesn't matter what amount of kitchen exhaust hood you have, you need to have makeup air. For me, building really airtight house is very important, because I'm spending all this money on mechanical. If you don't have a tight envelope, then you have leakage, and you're wasting more energy, spending more money on electricity, on heating and cooling the house. And so energy efficient, yes, very important for me. The more efficient your home is, the less money you have to spend on mechanical. So that's also a trade-off. Like this is 4,500 square feet living square feet under roof and a single floor plan, right? In Texas, you rely on your mechanical contractor to give you the suggestions. I mean, you can do a manual J, manual D, manual S, all those you have to do. My manual J said I need 6 ton of air handling, so 3 and 3. But just with experience of the contractors, I've done triple pane windows. I have exterior insulation. I have spray foam on the inside, as well as I have rock wool bats on every interior wall as well. So insulation wise, I have 1.5 inch of styrofoam, rigid foam on the outside of the house, but on top of the stucco, as well as we have metal gap, air gap in the metal roof as well. So, building science wise, I've taken care of all those things. When the contractor came to look at the house, he's saying me, you need at least 10 ton of HVAC cooling. I was like, no.
Oh my God. For this house.
For this house.
But for spec house, you have 2 units, right?
Yes, I still have 2 units. One's a 5-ton unit and another one is a 3-ton unit. But I did not do whole house dehumidification in that home or an ERV. That was traditionally, still I had bath fans. But what I did was I put a humidity sensor switch. So until and unless the humidity is not completely gone, you can set a percentage of humidity. The bathroom exhaust fan is going to stay on and take all the humidity out. So just a different way of doing it, because it's extra $20,000, which I have not budgeted.
I remember when I was visiting that house, it was almost finished inside. You assembling cabinets, kitchen, and so on. So from the moment when you build your frame, you start mechanical part until the moment like when you start doing some finishes, how much you usually spend money-wise?
So,
because sometimes builders don't realize how much they can spend for internal works.
True. Like before you start your frame, you need to have your windows ordered in. So that's going to eat up the budget. So depending on the design of the house, the amount of windows that, for me, it was about $30,000 of that includes exterior windows, all exterior windows, sliding doors, entry door, garage doors, because I imported them from China. I did not buy locally. I did get a quote locally. It was about $85,000, just material plus install. Whereas I was able to spend $40,000 with material and labor install. So that was a big savings over there. Then you have your, you need to place your orders in for mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. That's how it follows. You don't pay the whole amount up, right? Because upfront, say you spent your budget at $30,000. That's what your contractor is going to charge you. You're still in rough end stage because not everything is done. So you're spending say 50% of that in that stage. So say your plumbing is $30,000, then you're spending $15,000 probably, or $20,000, because you have to pay the plumber for underground sewer before your concrete gets poured. So a lot of sewer part is already taken care of. Then all they're doing is trimming out, like rough out all your faucet fixtures, your water lines, everything is done. So you pay that portion away, and all those bids you need to make sure they mention on each stage how much they're gonna charge you, so you can calculate at what stage how much money you're gonna need. Same thing with electrical. They'll come run all their wires, and then once all of that is done, you pass inspection. You can go and spray foam on, insulate the building of whatever building insulation you want to do, and then it's drywall. Insulation typically, it's not too expensive in comparison to your overall budget. Probably, I would say, if I'm spending 1 to 2% of your.
Did you use a batt insulation or?
So we did interior batt insulation for all the interior walls, and we did open cell spray foam on the exterior walls.
To give better.
Better R value, sound dampening, and all the benefits of having spray foam. Over here, we're going to do the same thing. Open cell spray foam on the exterior walls and interior rock wool insulation.
Do you remember what was your most unexpected, unpleasant, unpredictable cost in your budget that you like, oh my God, I even didn't expect it takes so much. It can take so much.
I would say it was mainly time. Like installing cabinetry, because they were imported from Ukraine. and they were not a traditional ready to assemble cabinet. Um, and the crew I had working was experienced in installing cabinets from foreign countries, and it's a smaller crew. I can't have they he didn't have like 10 people working at the
Yeah.
same time. So it was the time that took for two of them to make sure everything is perfect and as per what I want, or better than.
So money-wise, you saved a lot on the importing cabinets, right?
Yeah,
But time-wise,
wasn't.
it was very long.
Yeah, it was a lengthier PDA to get those installed. Next time, if I had to do the same thing, I would go with a different crew probably, and someone who has a bigger crew.
Yeah.
So because this house is that I have two custom homes now, right?
Yeah.
So they're building side by side at pretty much the same time frame.
Any other unexpected cost in your budget that became a big surprise for you? The spec house.
Big surprise. It's staircase. I had floating staircase before in the architectural design. When I got a quote from a local staircase manufacturer, it was about $30,000 for those staircase. Yeah, design wise, it looks really good, but
It's like a kind of staircase that built in your wall. It
no,
looks like
it's like a metal post,
Uh-huh.
and you have your treads on it.
Yeah.
You weld it, and then you put your treads on top of it. And it's like floating.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
not-
there should be still some kind of like a mount to.
Yeah.
to
You still have to mount it in the
That's why
wood.
it's called floating, like because it looks like
Yeah, it looks like floating, but it's not.
30,000.
Yeah, that was a big hit, and then I decided let's not do that at all, because floating staircase, I felt like for that price range that I was trying to hit, it's not like if I don't do, the house is not going to sell. It's not like a
Not the
have it or
not the main
break
sale
it.
point.
Yeah, it's not the main sell point. I can save that money and spend it towards different upgrades that are more visual and comforting. Do better trim job. I did like hardwood flooring on the ceiling as
Yeah.
well. So just better light fixtures rather than waffle light fixtures. You can do down lights. They sell a lot of stuff. So looks like a bedroom, but it's not. It's a closet. It's gonna be pretty big. Need to go shopping to fill this space up. We're gonna have an island as well, which will have all the jewelries, the watches, the perfumes, and your undergarments and everything that you need on your daily basis. And it's gonna be all really pretty cabinetry with LEDs, and I'm also have a LG steam closet as well right behind you. That's what the outlet is for. So what that does is it eliminates a lot of need of dry cleaning, right? Like say you wear certain clothes just for an hour, and it's still an AC, and you haven't gotten sweaty or anything. You don't take that out and directly throw that for wash, right? So because it's the clothes are not dirty. All you need is just to sanitize them and refresh them. And that's what that machine does. So hopefully you're gonna save a lot of money on laundry. Yeah. So your winter clothes as well, right? Like your jackets, things that you don't need to wash very often. How do you keep them fresh? That unit does that for you. Yeah, these details, you won't see them in a typical home. As well as as I was saying, being a structural engineer and not being a structural engineer, but learning about structural engineering, this is something that holds your whole house down, right? Typically, in a production home builder, what you will see is this. We missed one spot. Look, perfect to show you how a typical home is. So we put a 3-inch metal plate around it and put a washer on it, because you have more surface area to hold the house down, right? And we have blocking everywhere throughout the house, as well as you don't see any hurricane clips in this home. The reason behind that is we have structural screws that ties the roof down. It's about 8-inch long, that long, that goes through both the plates and into the truss and holds it down really strongly. As well as certain details where on the interior partition walls, we have some metal clips that helps with movement, and you're not going to have issues with drywall tearing off and issues of cracking, basically. Other thing we do is whenever we build custom homes, we just don't start framing the next day. We don't do that. At least my company, we don't have that policy. What we do is we water the slab out for at least 14 days till it reaches about 80% of its strength. We pour water. It's like basically put a sprinkler on the whole slab, and you let it cure slowly. The slower the cure is, the stronger the concrete is going to be. So that's something my company does at every home. Doesn't matter if it's a spec or a custom. We're still gonna provide those details.
Was there any moment, I know you told us that you built with your cash, was there any moment when you were looking at your bank account and see like how money it's running out and like, oh my God, why did I start this?
That happens, yes. It does happen because when I have multiple projects going on, and I still do flips. It's not that we have stopped flipping homes. We're still doing flips. So right now, I might not have I've put a budget for the custom home it's a spec home that I'm building, right? When I started, I put the money aside, the whole amount.
Yeah.
So if it's going to cost me $1 million, I kept whole $1 million aside for that project. But as it starts, I don't need all that money together. So what I did was I took out, say, 600 from that, and we're still flipping houses, right? Because time frame on flipping is relatively quick, and it's predictable. It's like, all right, you have done so many of them that I know how much I'm going to spend on each part of what I want to do in the house. And there are times when I'm like, oh shit, I'm running out of money.
And your wife asking, why do you spend on me? Why you spend on the house?
Yeah, it happens, and it's just waiting time game at that time. Say if the spec home's not closed on it at the time frame that I wanted to, then probably I might have to wait 10 more days for that funds to be released. But the good thing is it's my own fund, so even if I have to wait 10 days, I can, because I already
just for reference, when did you start the spec house, and how much still left when you like fully ready?
So to go back exactly on when we started breaking ground, that's doing the dirt work. It's almost been 1 year and 1 month.
From this moment?
Yeah, from today.
Yes.
It's been 1 year and 1 month. And all I'm left with is outdoor landscaping. And I have a couple of meetings for that with contractors today.
13 months.
Also, I had this 2 homes building at the same time. So whereas this is a bigger priority for me than the spec home when the money is stuck over there. But we want to move in as quick as possible. Because right now, the space me and my brother, we live together, and it's getting congested. It's getting small.
Yeah, and what did Big build? I think it's relatively quite big house, like not 2,000 square feet, not 1,500s. What did building like a big teach you that a small house never would have? Like, is there any difference? Big starting small or starting like really big? Except risk, of course.
It's like, what do your client expect? So I feel like you build 2,000 square feet or 4,000. The quality of work, it's if you are, if you have certain things that you expect of quality wise, it's gonna stay the same. It's just more material. That's about it. issues wise, yes, you can have the same issues if you say your mechanical contractor didn't do stuff right. If it's 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, or a 2,000, it still stays the same issue if they've not done the job right.
And do you think time-wise to build a 2,000 square feet house, or even smaller, let's say 1,500 square feet house, is faster than 4,000? Oh, it's pretty the same.
It is faster. You have less stuff in the house. So you say you have 2 less bathrooms. That's 2 weeks right there. And if it's just tile work, waterproofing, tiling, all those.
Like maybe how many months?
All
6,
depends
7, 8,
actually. On the architecture style, your trim work. Maybe if you're importing or if you're not importing building material. So I feel like you can save a lot of time if you're not importing. The reason why American home builders are able to build their houses so fast is because they're buying everything locally.
Unification of every material, everything,
And they do have bulk discount with the suppliers. So, production builders, yes, they're going out and building 300 homes, 400 homes, maybe 1,000, 5,000 homes. It's set plans that this is what you can do. And for us, when they come to us a custom home, we're like, we can do whatever you can imagine. So, yes, it is going to take time.
Yeah. My favorite section in every podcast where I'm asking builders to be very honest is the mistakes, because everybody tells about success. Like, look how successful we are. What's the single most expensive mistake on your first build you made, especially in real dollars?
I would say the whole lot itself.
The whole lot?
Yeah. If I had to do it again, I would not buy a downward sloping lot. Just because the challenges that comes with, and my lot is pretty much the lowest on the whole cul-de-sac. It's on a cul-de-sac and it's at the lowest angle. So all the water from that cul-de-sac it's coming to my home.
Wow.
And we have to divert that out and make sure the foundation does not have issues. Make sure the future owner, whoever, if we have a heavy rainstorm,
a lot of French drainage, a lot of
that's an expense I did not predict that it would take up so much money and time. Right now we are challenged with weather in Austin, where this year I would
heavy rains
every week, right?
Yeah,
We're having rain every week. This is not normal for us.
Yeah.
And it's been about 2 months since I want to start with all the French drain work, and not able to, just because it's wet all the time.
We are recording this podcast in June.
Yeah.
And today in the morning there was a rain.
Yeah. Yesterday, day before yesterday.
So that was the biggest mistake that, it's hard to say how much it costs, but the lot costs you almost 300 plus.
Yeah.
1,000.
Even after spending so much money on all the dirt work, raising the pad up, and if I have to do it again, I would buy on a uphill lot, not a downhill lot, or a flat.
Take all my water, neighbors.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with water, because that's what kills your build. And a lot of builders go upside down just because of mistakes with water. Because water will destroy everything.
I designed this podcast for first-time builders, not for those who build 20,000 square feet of living space or wherever, 2,500 houses. And I really want to help people who watching this to start their first build. So let's talk about first-hand advices to first-time builders, and someone who is listening this right now, who maybe has cash, just maybe bought a lot, and has no idea what to expect next. What is the very first thing they should do this week? start to maybe check like internet like you did, or maybe
Yeah.
something else? Like what is your
I would say first thing you should do is get a building education seminar. Go attend one. Know the building science. Learn different materials in construction.
what education would you advise to like start learning first?
So I went to a class in Denver. If I'm not getting the name wrong, it's called CI Live. I'll have to look it up. I can share the link with you.
We will check.
Yeah, you can put it underneath in the podcast. So I attended that education course, and the three guys who teach over there, they are the ones who make the building code for the country.
Oh,
Right? They are the one who tells government, and you know what, let's make this changes to the international building code, or the international mechanical code, or electrical code, or plumbing code. You learn from them, then you are set, because they are the ones teaching the work.
from founding fathers.
Yeah, founding fathers. Yeah. So I went for those, learn and follow them on social media as well, because it's education, constant education. The more you know, the more better it is.
Such a great advice.
Learn about different types of construction, like wooden frame. Then there is ICF. Then there is it's a styrofoam kind of a material. It's they make panels out of it, and you can shoot with not shoot, but you can spray gunite or shotcrete on it. You can build house out of concrete as well in America. Yeah, it costs 10% more than wood frame, but your insurance rate's gonna go low. Because you'll have cheaper
So
insurance.
you recommend to learn like a basics, right? We had a podcast before that, and another custom builder in Austin, he almost told the same. Start learning some skills, because otherwise contractors
will take advantage.
will take advantage and learn you in a hard way, help you to learn in a hard way.
Yeah. It'll cost you money.
It costs you money.
There are many people. YouTube is, I would say,
The problem
Go to
with
place.
YouTube, usually it's not very structured.
yeah.
So you have like to find what you can trust or what you cannot trust.
Yeah, and get your hands dirty. That's the only way you learn. Get into it. Important point would be architectural plans. You can find great architectural plans online, where you don't need to go spend thousands of dollars on a custom home architecture. You can buy a plan and buy a source file of that plan, and hire freelance drafters to make changes if you need to make it your own. Just have a good structural engineer. That's all you need.
This is a quite controversial advice that I hear a lot, like to buy the plan and then change it, or just to pay once to architect and make it for yourself, like a custom plan. Do you think it's a how do you feel about these two options?
So that's what I did over here. This house, I actually bought a ready plan online. Yeah, it's from an architect. It's not from any other company. It's local based to us. It's in Texas. It's in Waco. The company who builds these plans. Spoken with them. They provide drafting service as well. So when I got the plans, I was like, you know what? This is all the changes I want to make. I want to change the office layout. I want to change the dining room layout. I want to make it a little bit bigger. This is the dimensions of the room. Because in Indian culture, we follow a system called Vastu. It's basically, it's set rules on how a house should be built. Like, it's a certain direction the house should be facing. It's a certain direction you should be sleeping on your bed, toilet's location of where it's going to be, your temple location, your kitchen location, everything. And so when I got the ready plan, we had a surveys which shows the dimensions, or a compass. Basically, they have a compass on it with what angle or what degree your house is sitting on, north, east, west, south, whatever it is, and you build your plans and modify your site plans as per your requirements. and go from there. But yes, you can definitely buy a plan, go on Fiverr. It's a great freelancing website. Upwork, or I think there's a couple of more. You can hire, freelance architect, or have the company, whoever you're buying the plans from, they can help you out with making.
But you still need engineer who will put signature on.
So they are not going to give you foundation drawings. They're not going to give you structural drawings. They'll give you architectural file. It's not going to have a stamp on it. If your city requires one, then you need to find an architect who will put a stamp on it
and pay extra money for the signature.
Yeah, you can pay extra money and get that done as well, because it's a Revit file or a DWG file or AutoCAD file. It's nothing rocket science. Everything is changeable. Everything is redoable. But structurally, yes, you need, because that's what's most important.
Yeah. Regarding advices, I think one of the biggest problems hiring contractors.
Yes.
So for first-time builders, what advice would you give? What contractors was like the pain in your butt, and what would you recommend? How would you recommend to deal with contractors? Like, what are your principles? What would you do?
So you want to drive around, know the neighborhoods where,
like, literally sit in the car and drive around, right? Not just
Definitely.
internet, checking Facebook groups.
No.
Yeah.
You want to see people working. Go drive around in neighborhoods where they're building custom homes. Go talk to the contractor. Get out of your car. Go and talk to the contractor. Go ask anyone on site who the supervisor is, if they are available. If not, if they have the boss of the team, go talk to them. Don't be afraid. I think fear is an uncertainty of not knowing on how people are going to react as something that people are afraid of. No, just get out of your car. Go talk to people. That's how you build relationships. Go, if in your city, if you have a local contractor meetup, go represent yourself as a builder and make connections. And very important thing that I do, if I am working with a new contractor, I'll go to their job site where they are working and see the quality of work, how they're keeping the site, how they're finishing it out, whatever the job they're doing, how they are while seeing the product.
What type of contractors was the biggest problem for you? I have my own list, but I want to hear yours.
MEP.
MEP?
Yeah.
Why? It's a big question. Like, why it's like
plumbers, they're busy, right? Like if you want to have a good contractor, they're gonna be busy. If the contractor is not busy, maybe
Something
the
wrong.
market or they're not good contractors. Yeah, like my plumber, my HVAC contractor, and electrician. It's hard to get hold of them. Yes, they will pick up the call. That's what's most important to me. Like if they give me a date that they
shouldn't
be
ghost
there.
you, right?
Sorry?
They shouldn't disappear, ghost
Yeah.
you. Like
if like I had that issue, even though with experience and knowing, you still have issues with trade. Like for this house, I tried a new electrical contractor. He came in and gave me a good bid, did all the work. It's 90% done. And then he stops answering my call.
Oh my God.
You have been paid on time, every time, the amount you asked. Why? What's the need? Yes, he was traveling from Dallas to Austin, but he knew the job that he was taking up. It's not like, he has underbid or he just doesn't want to come or has issue with me. No, we didn't have any communication issue. I gave him plenty of time, but then just starts ghosting me. It's like, for what? Why do you want to spoil relationship?
How did you solve it?
I found another contractor.
Oh, but it's really bad if like another electrician have to finish the work of previous.
It's costing me more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me find the right word, most challenging contractors.
Yeah.
What will be other type of contractor? Let's make a kind of list, like the most challenging contractors to find and work with.
I would say
HVAC?
HVAC, not too much, because
too much?
when you sign a contract out, they know what needs to be done. I feel like foundation is pretty straightforward, because they know they only get paid once they are done with the job.
Yes.
Because you're buying building materials. Like I am buying building material. I'm buying all the rebar. I'm buying all the concrete, all the dirt, providing all the heavy machinery to them. So they know they get paid once they reach a certain stage. So like go put rebars in, pass your inspection, structural engineer comes out, he passes that. That's when you get paid.
Okay.
Come the next day, pour concrete, get done, because that's also a quicker process, right? Like foundation, probably a week you can get done with it. Whereas mechanical and MEP takes a little longer, because going through high ceilings, and you have.
What about roofers, insulation team, painters? Like they're pretty.
Insulation, no. There are plenty of people in the industry, and once you know your price on how much you want to pay out per square feet, then it's easier to find and say if the guy you're working with is ghosting you, then it's not a difficulty to find another one. Because I would say the most important thing is to know a builder who can recommend trades to you. Someone.
Where you were looking for them, like you found all these people on the building sites and you took their cards, or you found them in some other way? Like for first-time builders who watching this, like where should I find this tradesman?
So first of all, if you're going financing route, you need to have a contract with
list of contractors. Yes.
Yeah, a list of contractors, as well as have a builder who can sign off or be a part of that build where a bank is able to finance you. So when you have that person, you can rely on them, because you would be typically paying them a fee for that part of the work. That it's their job to make sure they are able to help you out, because that's their role. Contractors, first I would say recommendations would be important, and from a builder, not from your neighbor who has an IT job and says, what I need, I know a framer that can do the job for you. That's the IT guy's job's he's not a builder, right? So builder recommendation, I would say, is important. And build relationship with other builders, because you share tradesmen, and when you have good tradesmen and you can share them with other builders, they realize that what's the importance of you in this role, because you're able to get them more jobs. So they want to keep working with you.
Jemish, thank you so much for so many practical advices. I feel that you're building such a great houses, and I'm really inspired because I remember you 3 years ago making the first steps. Now you building these houses, you sharing your wisdom, you teaching people. And I really appreciate your time, and I want to see more of your projects.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.